Hey students, this is Miss Shofity. I wanted to talk to you guys about how to find study resources for our upcoming tests. So usually about a week or more before we have a test, I will open up a folder that specifically has study materials for the upcoming test. So we have a test assessment coming up on Monday, September 14th. So I wanted to show you where you can find some study resources for that upcoming assessment. So what you want to do is you want to go down to Study Guide Study List, and in Study Guide Study List, you are seeing like my screen, so you see all this stuff. But really, we just want to focus on, for now, chapters 1 and 2 test info. So you see the states and capitals, which hopefully you had visited before we had the states and capitals check-in. But now we're going to focus on chapters 1 and 2 test information. So we click on that. And you see there is a lot of stuff down through here. Lots of stuff. So I'm not going to click on everything to open it, but I just wanted to talk about each one of the resources. So for the 13 colonies, there is this thing called the colonies chart. In the colonies chart, there's information about who founded the colony, what year it was founded, what was their primary reason for founding the colony. So that's going to be really important, and that's about the 13 colonies. Then the 13 British colonies map. So this is a map that will show you all 13 British colonies and what region they belong to. There's also a 13 British colonies map further down, so I'll talk about that as well. The next three things are really just general pieces of information: how you can be a successful student, how to develop study skills in middle school, and a study tips video. That's really going to enhance your studying. If you don't know how to study yet and you don't know what to do, when you're tasked with studying, really these three things are going to be really helpful. This is your last year of middle school. When you go to high school, the expectation will be that you know how to study successfully for an upcoming test. So that's really important. The next two things are actually Study Island lesson. So here's lesson and the questions. So if you are thinking, well, I did do my Study Island, but I don't really want to go back in to Study Island and change my score by doing, the questions again or whatnot, you can actually just look at these PDFs. So here's the lesson, and here are the questions. So a little bit further down, there is a link to a Quizizz about the subject matter, and there is a Kahoot, and here's the pin number so you can play it. Those two things, if you like to play games, are going to be really important. Now, they're not going to have every single question that's going to be on the test, but at least the subject matter and the topics will be the same. Here is the Christopher Columbus PowerPoint, so you can look at information about Christopher Columbus. Here's more information about Jamestown, more information about Roanoke and the Lost Colony. And then this thing, I put this out there for every single upcoming test. It's just a list of the test topics. So take a look at that. It will kind of let you know what test topics will be on this test, like Christopher Columbus, Jamestown, Pocahontas, Roanoke, and of course the 13 British colonies. So here's the other map I was talking about for the 13 British colonies. I will actually click on this so you guys can see it. So this, I believe I gave you as one of your warm-ups to refer to. So it has in purple, see the purple The purple colonies belong to New England. The green colonies here belong to the middle colonies. And then the kind of orangish colonies were the southern colonies. So when you were asked how many regions the 13 colonies were divided into, it's only 3. Province of Quebec, that was Canada. Well, what is now Canada. So that's really important to note. So there were New England colonies, middle colonies, southern colonies. And of course, North Carolina belonged to the southern colonies. All right, so I'll go back to the study guide list. And I did put this last thing in here. So this is sort of like a study guide. It's a question guide. So you can look at this and look at some of the questions that you may also see on the actual assessment. I rarely give you guys something that you can see questions for, but since this is our first assessment, I wanted you to have something to look at. So anyway, take a look at each of these resources. Really think about what's important and what do I need to know about each of these topics. When you're thinking about what you need to know about each of these topics, really the 5 W's, the who, what, where, when, and why, are probably the main things that you need to know. But of course, the impact that it had on people is also really important. So let me know if you have any questions, and that's just a general idea of, where to look for study resources.